So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, so we know that Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant are in negotiations for a fight in November. Will the fight get done this time? I hope so. I hope so. The fight does get done. I hope we get to see Canelo Alvarez v Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is set in training for November, so hopefully we've got some kind of indication there that maybe things are going to be done a lot more quietly this time. See, here's the thing. One thing I've noticed about boxing, when negotiations are done out in public, it's very hard to make a deal. Usually, a lot of the fights, they get made without any negotiation, without it coming out in the public. When it's coming out in the public and all this nonsense, generally I seen there's some kind of stalling in a fight. Look at Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence. The fight got made without any public negotiation. The fight came almost out of the blue. And generally, I feel like that's normally the best scenario for a fight to happen. Rather than the negotiations and everything being aired in the public, it doesn't always work out. It's not always a good thing when there's negotiations in the public. Generally, the fight doesn't always happen. So for me personally, I would prefer a fight gets done behind closed doors, or the negotiation, because then, you know what, it gets out there, the fans give their take, and sometimes it just doesn't, they give their side of the story, and then, sometimes the public's opinion may sway, some camps where they start hearing some rumors, or, it comes out in the media, they talk. Just get the fight done without really letting the public know what's going on behind the scenes. I think that's the best way to get a deal done. I think when negotiations are being aired in the public, I don't think that's an advantage to making a fight. I think that's actually a disadvantage. So yeah, hopefully this time they're more quiet about it. They don't tell us what's going on and what deal's going on, and just get it done and then let the public know that the fight's done. Rather than, coming out that PBC have offered Canelo a 3-fight deal, a 1-fight deal, and this, that, and the other. Just like I said, do all of that behind closed doors. Do it without the public and the media knowing what's going on, and then just surprise us with an announcement like Pacquiao Spence. I didn't hear any negotiations with Pacquiao Spence. Did you guys hear any negotiations? Nothing. There was no negotiations been talked about. Oh, well, Pacquiao wants 60%, or he wants that amount of money. Nothing got made out. It actually took everyone by surprise. Even like Michael Benson, all of those guys, nobody reported anything about this fight potentially happening, and then it happened. Usually, when they're quiet and they're silent, it's the best way to get a deal done. The media can't sway the fighters and their camps. It gets done. The fans have their say. There's a lot. I just feel like just keep it quiet. Just keep it quiet. Get the fight done, and then excite the boxing public with making the fight and announce it. Nowadays, until the fighters are in the ring, we can't even be confident that the fight is going to happen, even if it is announced, as we saw with Pacquiao Spence. There seems like, and with the COVID-related situation going on off in the world, it just feels like, as fans, we can't even be confident when a fight is made. When a fight is made, until they're in the ring, right? And in certain cases, we've seen a fight where the fighter went to the ring and then left. Boxing has taken a hit this year. There's a lot of fans that are frustrated right now. And we need a big fight. Now, Pacquiao-Ugas is still going to happen. It's great news that that's going to happen. I'm going to do a video about Casemiro, Rigondeaux. I'm going to talk about Joshua Buatsi in this video, actually, as well. But for me, just keep it quiet. Just get the fight done with Caleb and Canelo. And then we can move on. And then we can move on with, hopefully seeing the fight. But, with all this talk and all this, oh, well, Canelo wants this and Caleb wants this and Al Heyman wants this. And just get the fight done, man. Just get the fight done. Do it behind closed doors. Don't let the public know until you're ready to announce. That's how it used to be, right? I remember when Canelo got done. Nobody had any rumors about that. It was just quiet, and it shocked everybody. That's normally the best way. When you keep everything quiet. I remember I was in a lecture when that Khan Canelo fight got announced. I even remember the time, and it was like, when I seen it on Facebook, I was like, what? It literally caught me by shock. Now, if this fight gets announced, it's not going to cause anyone shock, because Caleb Plant is a champion and Canelo holds 3 belts, and we know Canelo wants to be undisputed, and we know that negotiations have been going off. But Pacquiao Spence, it was a shock. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Nobody thought Pacquiao was going to fight Spence, but it caught us off guard. The same way, they could have caught us off guard with Canelo Plant. But I actually think by coming out in the media, by saying this, that, and the other, I just noticed when it comes out and the negotiations are being aired in the public and the media and stuff, generally I feel like there's always something that stalls a fight. But when it's done quietly, right, and nobody hears about it, it feels like the fights get done. Maybe there's a lot of fights that get done, that are quietly being done, fall down, but we never hear about it. But the fact of the matter is, it just seems like it would be a better idea to not air the stuff in public and media, and just get it done behind closed doors, and then let the public know when the fight is done. Surely that would be the more smarter way of operating and going about things. Because it definitely seems like when they come out in the public, it has a bad effect. It stops, for me, it has an impact on making the fight. So hopefully they're more quieter about it this time and they get the fight done. I would love to see it, because like I said, we're starved of big fights at the minute. We just had a fight in Pacquiao Spence, was a massive monster fight that has just fell through, and it's like people are just mourning the loss of that fight. And even though we'll get Pacquiao fighting Ugas, it's just that people can't get over the fact that we're not going to get Pacquiao Spence. I think people are so disappointed, and I don't blame fans. Fans, especially in America, having to pay $75. And even for this Canelo Plant fight, they're going to have to pay $75. It's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money for some of the American fans, paying that sort of money. And I feel for them. They have to pay, of course. But I guess that the way you look at it, those monies going into the fighters' pockets, and they, like I said, fighters deserve every penny they get. They put their lives on the line for our entertainment. So, I buy every pay-per-view. I can't remember the last time I didn't buy a pay-per-view. I buy every pay-per-view. I even watched Josh Taylor's fight Ramirez on Fight TV. I like watching the where you should. I like watching the proper, buying the fight. Firstly, it helps the fighters. And I know some of these fighters, like Mayweather, is not short of a change, but nevertheless, it's like, I'm a boxing fan. I want to see entertainment. And when you go to a cinema, you have to pay for entertainment, right? The same way this is entertainment, So, yeah, I always get most pay-per-views here in the UK. Most of the pay-per-views here are like $19.99. So it's nothing like what it is in America. But anyway, regardless of that, I just want to see the big fights, man. I want to see the big fights. I want to see them get made. Now we've got DAZN, which is great value for money. We're only paying £2 here for DAZN. Brilliant value for money. And it's some good fights. So hopefully Canelo Plant can get done. I think it would definitely put a lot of smile on a lot of boxing fans' faces. A lot of people have lost hope that fight happens. I've not lost hope. I think the fight will happen. I'm in the boat where that fight will happen for me. I think Canelo Plant is a big fight. And I think it's a fight that will definitely happen personally. I know there's a lot of people that think otherwise and think the fight's not going to happen, but I'd have to disagree with you guys. I do think that Canelo Plant will get over the line. I do think Canelo Plant is a great fight. I think it's a fight that people are actually sleeping on in terms of the competitiveness of the fight. Now, I agree with most of you that I think Canelo's going to win. I think we all see it the same way. I don't think anyone has Caleb Plant winning. I don't think they do anyway. But I think it's a lot more competitive. I think Caleb's going to give Canelo a bit of trouble like Billy Joe, but he might be able to prolong it. And who knows, he might be able to take him the distance. I don't see it. I think Canelo will stop him late. I think a little later than Billy Joe. And someone said to me, Imran, Billy Joe's, as big as Caleb Plant. He's not. He's not physically as big as Caleb Plant, and he's not as tall as Caleb Plant. Billy's about 5'10", 5'11" at max. Caleb Plant's 6'1". He's a lot bigger frame. Go look at Caleb Plant's frame. Go watch Caleb Plant out of training camp, how big he is. Billy Joe's not that big. You know, Caleb Plant's massive. I'm talking he must be walking around at like 190, 190. Like, he's big guy. Big guy. You know, so yeah, this is not an easy fight, and he's faster feet and faster hands. This isn't an easy fight, and for me, he's a better combination puncher than Billy Joe. A lot of people were asking, Imran, what does, you know, Caleb Plant's not better than Billy, you know, Caleb Plant's a better combination puncher than Billy Joe. Billy Joe throws single shots, but Caleb Plant throws more combinations. So that, again, the volume could cause him trouble. This is a great fight, guys. Caleb Plant is not pushover, even though I think he doesn't have enough power to keep Canelo off. But I like to see every fight. Listen, it gives guys like Caleb Plant an opportunity to potentially cause an upset. This is what we got to realize. It gives guys like Caleb Plant an opportunity to put themselves in the history books, right? Because if Caleb wins, he puts himself in the history books as a undisputed world champion. You know, Canelo's looking to create history, but so is Caleb. You know, so, and let's be honest, we've seen bigger upsets than Caleb Plant beating Canelo before. So, again, it's an intriguing fight, man. And sometimes, you know, when these fights can't be made, it's frustrating because, you know, the fans, they want to see it. The fans want to get excited. The fans want to see big fights. And when these big fights don't get made, fans get frustrated. They get depressed. They're like, oh, this is terrible. This isn't good for the sport of boxing. But hopefully, I am very confident this fight happens for November. I think they're going to be quiet about it this time. And I think they're going to get the fight done. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to get this fight done? Or do you think it's going to be another dragged out process? I personally, in the boat where I think the fight's going to get done. But what do you guys think? Let me know. And let me know your opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. I'd love to know your opinion on the prediction and who you think is going to win and how. I think most of you have Canelo beating Plant. But how do you think Canelo's going to beat Plant? I'd love to know your guys' opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. You know, it's a channel where everyone's entitled to their opinion. I want to know how you see this fight playing out. Guys, I want to talk a bit about Joshua Buatsi. Joshua Buatsi is fighting tomorrow. And I want to talk about Joshua Buatsi's future in the sport. Where do I see him going? Buatsi's a good fighter. He's talented. He's a good fighter, an Olympian. He's definitely somebody with skills, ability. I like Joshua Buatsi. I think he's a very calm, level-headed guy. I think he's a very hard-working guy. I think he dedicates himself to his craft. However, he's in a division full of sharks. He's in a division full of sharks, and I don't know where Eddie Hearn's going to look to take him next. Now, Eddie Hearn is talking about him fighting Dimitri Bivol after this fight. He's talking about, you know, him fighting a fight with Dimitri Bivol, and I think maybe Eddie Hearn was not impressed with Dimitri Bivol after his fight against Richards, and he probably thinks, you know what, Buatsi's better than Richards. Maybe Buatsi can beat Bivol. Bivol is a guy that I wasn't impressed with. But Bivol is a very good fighter. He's a very skilled fighter. He's got a very good jab. He's got great movement. I think personally, I don't think that would be the right fight for Buatsi. I think it would be too soon. I think Bivol would be too skilled for him. And I don't think Buatsi against someone like Bivol would be, in my opinion, skilled enough to beat him. I just don't. I think Bivol would be too skilled. And I saw Buatsi against, was it Cilic? Was it? He gave Buatsi a lot of trouble in that fight. And if anything, he really troubled Buatsi. I think in the end, Cilic was it? Ended up getting an eye injury, which probably halted him. But prior to that, he was really catching Buatsi with some good shots. And you know what? At certain points in that fight, I thought, whoa, Buatsi might lose this. But, you know, fair play to him. He managed to pull it out and get the win. But you know what? In the light heavyweight division, the problem they're going to have is where they're going to take Buatsi next. Because, you know, Eddie Hearn's already talking about world title shots. The problem he has is in the light heavyweight division, there's so many guys. Like Beterbiev is a dangerous fight. You know, Bivol's a dangerous fight. Joe Smith is a dangerous fight. But if there's any world champion that I would put Buatsi in with, is Joe Smith. However, Joe Smith is very dangerous for Buatsi right now as well. But the problem is, and here's the problem, that the world champions are good, but even the guys below the world champions are good. Even the fighters below them are very good. Like, you got guys like John Pascal. You got guys like Badu Jack. I'm pretty sure Badu Jack is still there. You got guys like Marcus Brown, who's a very good fighter. You know, you got guys like, you know, who's still there at light heavyweight? There's loads of guys. I know it's a very stacked division. You got Suleiman Barrera. You know, there's many good fighters at light heavyweight. Very, very good guys. In Britain, we've got Callum Johnson. We've got Anthony Yard. We got, I think he retired, didn't he? The Buglioni, he retired. But the other guy that, Buglioni beat, I forgot his name, Hosea Burton. You know, I think has he retired as well? I'm not sure if he's retired. I think he might have done. But he's another good fighter. You know, these are like, and add Callum Smith to that. You know, there's a lot of fighters at light heavyweight. A lot of good fighters at light heavyweight, man. And that's the problem I think they're going to have, is because they're thinking, if we're going to put him in with some of those names, why not just put him in with the world champions? Because some of those names are just going to be like, imagine Marcus Brown against Joshua Buatsi. That's a tough fight. Imagine Badu Jack against Joshua Buatsi. Those are hard fights. Imagine John Pascal against Buatsi. That's a very, very tough fight. Even Suleiman Barrera is a very, very tough fight. So what Eddie Hearn's thinking is that by putting him in with guys like that, there's a chance he may lose. You know, and putting him in with Callum Johnson, there's a chance he may lose. Putting Joshua Buatsi in with Callum Smith, there's a chance he may lose. So why not just go and fight the champion? If he loses, he can come back. He can fight guys like Callum Johnson, Callum Smith to bounce back if he's good enough. But I do think the problem is, I think the matchmaking for Joshua Buatsi is going to be tough after this fight if he is to be successful, which I expect him to. It's the way they're going to plot his way to a world title. Are they just going to say, you know what, let's just go for the world title next? Or is it going to be, let's clean up domestically first, which I think he should, because let's be honest, Joshua Buatsi hasn't fought any of the top guys domestically. Like, we're talking about Lyndon Arthur, Yard, Johnson, and now add Callum Smith to that. There's 4 fighters there, and you'd have to say that Callum Johnson and Callum Smith and Callum Johnson, Yard and Arthur, I would like to see Yard and Buatsi, but I don't think most people would favor them, me included, against Buatsi. However, Callum Johnson and Callum Smith, they would be very dangerous fights for Buatsi. And I would say that a lot of people would actually favor both guys potentially to beat Buatsi. Callum Johnson would be a 50-50, but Callum Smith, you'd have to say, with the experience that he's got, although it's at 168, you'd have to say, and the size of Callum Smith as well, who's a very big dude, you'd have to say that would be a fight where maybe a lot of people favor Smith to beat Buatsi. Let's not forget, Buatsi at the minute is, what level is he at? We don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see how they, get Joshua Buatsi to the top, if he's good enough to get to the top. Because I believe that a fight with Callum Johnson makes no sense, because it's too dangerous at this point. And a loss against someone like Callum Johnson would hold Joshua Buatsi's career back. A fight with Callum Smith would be big, because he'd be fighting a former world champion at 168, and Callum Smith is a biggish name. However, it's a dangerous fight. And again, what does that fight do for Joshua Buatsi if he was to lose? He'd be losing to somebody that had just moved up to 175. And like I said, Callum Smith's a really good fighter. So, to be honest with you, I don't know how they're going to move Joshua Buatsi. I don't know how they're going to move Joshua. They're going to move him. But like I said, I think it's going to be very hard in this light heavyweight division, because there's so many good fighters and there's so many dangerous fighters. And I think his next fight will have to be against one of those guys. So how long is it going to be before they take off the stabilizers and say, you know what, we're going to have to now push you in with somebody top tier level or world class, like a Badu Jack or like a John Pascal, someone like that who's very dangerous. So, or even a Callum Johnson or Callum Smith, because they're dangerous fights for Buatsi. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see how they guide Buatsi's career I think, like I said, the light heavyweight division is the toughest division. If I'm honest with you, do I see Buatsi beating any of the champions? The only guy that I think he could possibly beat is probably Joe Smith, and even that I wouldn't favor him. I think Smith. I mean, Joe Smith is a very, very underrated guy, and he's very strong, and he's very big and very strong. You know, so that would be an interesting fight. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to know your opinion. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.